talk about the inner critic. We all have one. We were born in this culture, and how to work with it. It's it's the cause of so much pain and suffering inside of ourselves. And some of us, to avoid the pain, will just spend a lot of time criticizing other people and the world and politicians, and that will give you a break. But really, it's you're always criticizing yourself, disowned parts of yourself that you don't think are you, or that you've, yeah, so it's all about you and developing self-love and acceptance. But there are some tools along the way of my 61 years that I have found effective in working with the inner critic. Some I call masculine and some I call feminine, yin, yang. It doesn't matter. What matters is what works in this moment, what would be most truly helpful. So let me lay out to you what has worked the most for me. And we'll start with a yin, a feminine approach. And that is, first of all, to journal or speak out loud or in some way get conscious of what the inner critic has been saying to you about you. So always bringing the unconscious to consciousness is actually, 70% of the process, to shine light upon something that has been submerged. And it takes courage. I love journaling, but it's not for everyone. So once you become aware of what the critical voice is saying, you could say back, are you feeling worried, concerned, scared because you want to see me progress and you're afraid the things I'm doing or not doing are getting in the way of me being happier and healthier and helping more people? So you lean into the idea that the inner critic is there to support you. It just learned how to support you from old school ways of thinking, that fear and guilt will motivate you. And when you empathize with the inner critic, when you honor its good intentions, and when you get it to agree that, yeah, it wants the best for you, and that behind the critical voice is fear, worry. So the inner critic cares about you. And when you can connect, in a sense, with the inner critic's heart, with its heartfelt desire for you to have everything you want, then it softens the energy of the critic, because the critic, like all parts of us, just needs to be heard, validated, and appreciated. It doesn't have to become the predominant voice in your consciousness. It only speaks loudly because you're not listening, because you're resisting it. And then it feels like it needs to try to get your attention even in more louder, more painful ways. So being the empath, the compassionate, curious, questioning adult that empathizes with your inner critic softens, softens, softens it. And then when it feels heard, you could say, would you be open to a different and more effective way of motivating me? And usually it says, yeah, tell me what you got. And you can introduce the idea that the critic, which specializes in taking apart little things, little details, and making you wrong for the little things that you're doing or the big things, just like a movie critic can fall in love with a movie and use all of its tools, all of its eloquence, all of its literary talent to praise the movie. Your inner critic can be taught to be a really good life coach and to take that talent for picking on you, picking you apart, and learn to pick on all the good things you're doing, the little ones. the minute ones that you usually don't validate. The critic can be a validator rather than an invalidator. But first, you need to empathize and have compassion for its purpose. It's just trying to help. Now, a more masculine approach would be to just cut the telephone wire. Like, shut up, like a really loud interrupting of the pattern. Just shut up. You're not helping. And with that intense, loud, it's like an intervention. You are not helping. What I need is kindness. It's an inner child that receives shame and blame from the inner critic. And that shuts the child down and makes it want to just do more procrastination and distraction. Yeah. So, and here's an advanced course, an advanced thing. It takes courage to look at yourself in the mirror and shapeshift into the inner critic and say, you're not doing it right. You should be so far along by now. You're all washed up. When are you going to get with the program? Your father was right. You're so lazy. Look at you surfing YouTube when you should be working. Look at you. You're just a mess. You can even exaggerate it and make it humorous. And as you're doing it, you have a little distance from it. You might even be able to discern, to become aware that it's not your voice in there. It's your father's, your mother's, your school teacher's. It's the world's insanity that you soaked up on the way. So that's the first step in the mirror work process. The second step is to take a breath and transform into that positive coach. You can do this. You are doing it. You're taking your perfect time at a perfect pace, and I believe in you. I know you have so much more potential. You're using between 3 and 5% of your brain, just like most human beings. It's okay. But one step at a time, we're going to encourage you to go further because we know you're happy. You're happiest when you're evolving and expanding. And we're going to support you and be your cheerleader because, yes, you are here to evolve and you're doing it, and we can help you lift you up and feel good about yourself because you deserve to feel good about yourself. Even now, even when you're stumbling and fumbling and falling down, you can feel great about yourself. Just being on this planet takes so much courage. Just getting out of bed in the morning is a beautiful thing. So keep going for it. I'm your cheerleader. Yeah. So you take the passion of the guilt trip. The first stage of the mirror work is like acting out your guilt trip. Bad me, poor me, stupid me, lazy me. Emphasizing, dramatizing, making it funny sometimes. It's painful. But if you can really get into the drama of it, you see how silly it is. And you take a step back and you witness it instead of being solidly infused as if it's your identity, as if the critical voice is you. So when you act it out like that, you start to take distance. When you journal it, you start to take distance and you enter the witness protection program, where whatever's going on in your mind chatter, it doesn't matter because you don't identify with your mind chatter. You are the observer, the impassionate, consistent, peaceful observer of whatever's going on up here. That's what that's what all these processes lead to, is realizing that your true essence is not the inner critic. It's the divine child. and the divine child is lovable and worthy no matter what you do or don't do, accomplish or don't accomplish. It doesn't matter. In the eyes of God, in the eyes of the universe, you are perfect, perfectly imperfect, no matter what. So that's where all this is leading. And that's what the inner critic is here to teach you, to honor your imperfection so that you can connect with your perfection. I love you. I hope this helps, and keep on going.